I want to transition to an important point, especially because as any place grows, in order for something to grow, there are certain principles that we need to consider and certain enemies that we need to be careful about. The biggest enemy is the shaitan. Shaitan never wants the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam to be calm. Shaitan always wants some sort of confusion, some sort of disagreement, some sort of difficulty to be sowed within the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. That's what Shaitan wants, because that's the promise that he has done. And one of the worst things that makes Sayyidah Fatma Zahra unhappy is when the believers fight with each other. That is really important to understand. When people are not glued together, when people do not act as what the Prophet said, that the ummah is like bricks of the wall, each brick strengthens the other brick. How does the brick strengthen the other brick, Huzel? When you put cement within them, they become strong. If you do not have cement between the bricks, they will just fall. So we do not want to be individual bricks where there is no cement. We want to act as a wall with cement that is cohesive, that is attached with each other. But Shaitan doesn't want that to happen. So how does Shaitan do that? If there is something that happens within the family, or something that someone sees and says something which is inappropriate, Shaitan will first come and Shaitan will whisper, because that's what Shaitan does. Oh, this must be wrong. This is not, it's not supposed to, how it's supposed to happen. They said something wrong. Then over time, it continues to whisper. It continues to whisper so that that small spark becomes something big. And that happens when the parents see something between the children, Shaitan starts whispering. As soon as Shaitan starts doing that, then Shaitan goes to other people around you and whispers to them that, oh, by the way, let's make a small group and start talking about the issue. That is which leads to gossip and then bohtan. That backbiting, that gossip is something that Shaitan wants us to do. Because the narration, the Quranic verse is very clear. A person who backbites is as if they are eating the flesh of their dead brother. And the Prophet saw on the night of Miraj that there were some people in hell who were eating dead meat. And the Prophet asked, who are these people? The Prophet was told that these are the people who are backbiting. So what the Maulana said, just supporting that point, that if there are two people, do not talk about the third person. It is a responsibility for all of us to be very kind and stop this when it is starting, because that leads to becoming groups and that leads to difficulties in the community, and not everyone doesn't want to do it themselves. It is just Shaitan which is starting to whisper so that it can cause confusion. And one thing that I mentioned many times to different people, in order to protect ourselves from Shaitan, like Maulana said, the wilayat of Shaitan is a real thing. Allah Ta'ala says, do not worship the Shaitan. How is it possible that someone is worshipping the Shaitan? It is, if we follow what the Shaitan is whispering, we are actually worshipping the Shaitan. But the important point is, how do we protect ourselves? Because this black power is there, this dark power is there, this is real. Shaitan has many weapons with it, 25 different weapons that it received from Allah in return of the worship that it did for thousands of years. So as a result, one of those weapons, one of the high form of those weapons is black magic, and that is real. There are shayateen, and I give this example oftentimes, that like when it is really cold outside, if we do not wear the jacket and we get out and get pneumonia, who's responsible? We are responsible, right? Or are we going to say, no, it is because Allah Ta'ala wanted it to be cold and we were stupid to go out, but still it's Allah's fault. No, it is our fault because we did not protect ourselves. That's why it is really important to protect ourselves all the time from the whisper of the shaitan. And how do we do that? It's by following the wajibat that Allah has mentioned. These wajibat are not just orders, they have hidden meaning. They protect us from the unseen powers. If we are continuously praying 5 times a day, it creates a shield around us. If we are fasting, it creates a shield around us. Coming to the Aza of Imam Hussain Islam, it creates a shield around us.